stranger conversations now than I've ever had before. Strange meaning unusual, and really fantastic. And these conversations are with the most professional of people in business suits. And what's been amazing is I feel very lucky in my life because I've had the opportunity, among other things, but professionally, I've had the opportunity to meet many business leaders over the course of 20 years, in fact. And occasionally, I meet great business leaders. But in talking to business leaders, we talk about the usual subjects, how to take a look at their business, we look at business results, we take a look at what we can do differently, how to improve. But over time, especially recently, these conversations have changed. They've gone into a different direction, the more unusual and really fantastic. So I remember having a conversation not that long ago with an amazing guy that I met. He has been in the military for years, has seen horrible things in war, but turned to be a corporate executive. And we talk about business and things that he's trying to achieve and so forth. But then suddenly the conversation turned and we started talking about other things like being healthy in our mind, being healthy in our body, talked about intuition, about even prophecy, about talking about yoga, about meditation. So really strange conversations that now people are having that conversation a lot with me. And I don't know if maybe perhaps society is changing a bit and we're allowing these unusual conversations to take place. Or maybe it's a change in myself, because I haven't certainly started the conversation, but I definitely invite it. Because now I guess you could call me, I'm an industrial engineer who owns a spa. I'm an entrepreneur who does yoga. I'm a business leader who talks about spirituality. And with all of these things in mind, the reason why these conversations sometimes take place is because what's happening in our minds. Because that we fill our minds with an incredible amount of information. In fact, actually, if you take a look, this is the amount of information that is technically possible in the human mind, one human mind. The mind is the most powerful tool, and we don't even know how it works. But what we do know is we cram it with information. We have worries that we have every single day. Worries that are big, big worries, like money and health and jobs and all these things, and the little worries of things to do and so forth. And then we fill it on top of that with information. We're constantly tied to our mobile and to our different devices, and we're constantly feeding our brains with information. So it's no wonder, and if you've ever had this moment where you feel like your mind is actually going to explode, where you can't take one more thing, you cannot think clearly because of everything that's going into your head. And this is the conversation I'm having with business leaders nowadays. That, yes, apart from the business results and all those kind of things, they're talking about the other stuff, the fact that they're dealing with emotions that happen at business that overrides rational thought. They can't come clearly to a business solution because there's just too much to worry about. And so along these lines, I've had a lot of great advice along the way. And some of that advice, the first one, is actually this first journey that I wanted to take with you. If you have this issue where you're trying to clear your mind and come up with the solution that you're looking for, the most brilliant thing that someone said to me was to accept the worries that you have in mind. Because when I first thought about this idea of meditation and so forth, what I actually thought is, I can't actually stop thinking for a moment. It's just not physically possible. And the actual thing is it's okay. The person said, just fine. In fact, take a moment as I speak to you to think about things that are worrying you, the tasks that are left to be done, the things that you need to do. And with this in mind, I like to think about the brain and the mind like a kaleidoscope. And the reason why this came to mind is, one, the kaleidoscope, the things that we had as children. It looks like a little telescope. It's, you can actually make one yourself. It has bits of colored glass in it. And you look up in the sunshine and you see beautiful, beautiful designs. You turn it just a fraction, completely changes. But it's the exact same things that were in the kaleidoscope. It's the same pieces of glass, it's the same colors, but it's creating a completely different picture. And I think I had come up with this because I was trying to cope. And for years, I've had a variety of different business things that have been going on. And there was a period of time I was dealing with life and death business issues. things that were very, very serious. Dealing with projects that created emotional upheaval, things that affected people's jobs. And I started to try to look at things a bit differently in order to come up with solutions that would help other people. And I think this idea stemmed from the idea of turning the kaleidoscope a bit, came from actually a university class years ago. As an engineer, of course, I had all of the math and the science and all these things, and I was so looking forward to this class. It was called Organizational Behavior. And I thought, okay, I can't wait, because I get to go to class and I don't have to think. This is what engineers think, you know? Okay, I'm doing all the math and science, that's where I'm really doing all the thinking. I don't need to think in this class. Which wasn't the case at all. I remember the first day of class, I remember the book and the first page of the first chapter. Because there was a picture there, and the professor said, I want you to look at this picture. And this picture was a business guy, beautiful suit, in this huge, beautiful office with all this glass around. And he was standing, looking out the glass, looking out the window to whatever was below, and he had his hands in his pocket, and he was just standing there. And the professor said, is he busy? And I got it at that point, especially when I heard the conversation in the class, and we're all engineers. I was like, I'm sorry, what do you mean? I don't get what you, of course he's not busy, he's standing there, he's not doing anything. And I got it, I got the idea of perception, of just seeing things in a completely different light and taking a look at it just a bit differently. And that's what I love about this idea of the kaleidoscope. But the main thing about being able to see things differently is quieting the mind. So as I speak, I want you to think about your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. It's one of the best things I learned about trying to clear the mind. Because like I said, I had difficulty trying to push the things that I needed to worry about. And the things that I needed to worry about clouded everything else. I couldn't come up with the solution. But the one thing to do is if you concentrate on your breathing, then that's actually what your focus then becomes. I had a great conversation with someone yesterday, and he described for him, he thought of the mind like a plate, and a plate in which you're always eating something. So it's always filled with things. But there's the occasion where you need to clean the plate and have that beautiful clean plate in front of you so you're ready for the next food to arrive. And that's what's important about clearing the mind. And we can do that in a number of different ways. One way, if you don't like the word meditation, think about it as like a mental holiday or a mental mini break. And some of these, we do this intuitively. So we have favorite things that we like to do. We do sports. We like to read a book. We escape for a while. That escape is extremely important. I remember actually as a university student and dealing with these very, very difficult classes, I would come home from break, and literally the only thing I could do was to sit on the couch and just stare off into space. I didn't want TV, I didn't want anything, I literally needed it. But what I realized, it's probably going a bit too far. I wasn't actually taking that break when I needed to, but I did need to clear my mind so I could be rejuvenated for the next thing. Setting an intention. So when you have that clean plate in front of you, the important part is where you're going to go with that. So as I speak, think about the one thing that you want in your life, the one thing that you need right now. And this is an amazing thing, because it is the case that we're often in a position where we're searching for something. We're searching for meaning in our life, we're searching for a job, we're searching for a path, we're searching for any number of things. And this can happen at any age. And that's one thing that's difficult to hear. Because sometimes when, for example, you're graduating from university, you think, okay, this is when I'm searching for something. It actually can happen at any single age. For me, this happened a few different years ago, and when I was looking for another career path, I had decided to leave one that I had been in for a very long time, and so I decided to take that moment of soul searching. And what was amazing is I decided, okay, I'm going to block the noise in my mind, which is what one great leader told me about blocking the noise. And I decided to go on holiday and take a break. And so I found myself in India, and I had one intention. I thought I'd try something. So I had one intention. I was really there to learn. I was just fascinated with India and the fact that there were many beliefs in one place. So I had the intention that I wanted to learn about the different beliefs that are there. And that's the only thing that I thought about. So I walked around, I was traveling alone with that intention in my mind. On the very first day of my holiday, I was walking, and a guy came up to me, and he told me that he was Christian. And he told me how much he loved his religion. And he told me about how fantastic it is because sometimes they fill an entire stadium of people who believed in the same things as he did. And then he went in to say that he was, marrying for love, and he did that, and where his family didn't like it, and his family weren't talking to him for so long. And that was the end of the conversation. And then I moved on. And on the second day, I was somewhere else walking along, and a guy came up to me, and he told me that he was Hindu. And he started telling me about why he believed what he believed. And then he started to tell me about how he's met someone that he knew in a previous life. And he told me even about out-of-body experiences and all these great things. And then he stopped for a moment, and he said, "I don't know why I'm telling you this. I've never told anyone this before." And then that was the end of the conversation. So the third day, I'm sitting in a cafe, and I was reflecting upon this. And it's okay, well, day one, I found out about Christianity from someone and from Hinduism from someone else. And I was sitting in a cafe that on a street, it was literally a church right next to a temple, right next to a mosque, and so forth, right next to each other, which I found fascinating. Beliefs right next to each other. And so in my head, I was thinking, okay, well, now I guess I need to learn about being Muslim. And just then, a woman came up to my table, and she told me that she was Muslim, and she said that she was looking to travel, that she wanted to do that amongst everything, but she was really afraid to go somewhere else where they may not believe in the same things that she did, and that they may not understand what she believed. And then that was the end of the conversation. And my week continued like this. And what was really, really interesting is I never asked one question. I don't know these people's names, and they don't know mine. I didn't even have any conversation with them. But I was inviting the conversation, and I did have an intention. And so for me, it was a very odd week, and it even ended very strangely. I'm walking down the street, and there was a psychic sitting at a table, and she stopped me, and she said, "Woof, I can see you've had a busy week. Have you learned everything that you're here to learn?" And I thought, okay, this is just really odd. But it was on this trip that I had this epiphany of the 3 businesses that would eventually come to today. And it gave me the sight of what I wanted to do. So, like I said, strange conversations. So the kaleidoscope in our mind. So what's beautiful about this imagery, this can help you. So once you've cleared your mind, you're trying to figure out where that great idea comes from. If you take a look and you think about the beauty of your mind and all the colors and all the fractals and all the different design and so forth, and you enjoy that color, but then also look and imagine the sunlight coming through and changing the dark colors to light and creating a clear path in order to be able to clear your mind to come up with the great ideas that are coming forward, which I find is a fantastic exercise to try to do. I often get asked a couple questions because of what I do today. One is, why do I do what I do? Or why do I do so much? And the other one is, how do I do so much? And for the first question, why do I do so much? I don't have an answer for that. I have come to accept that about myself. I know that it's been like that since I was 11 years old, but it certainly took a long time to accept it. And I just love doing what I do. And I love doing even more and trying to help more people and do a number of different things. It keeps me going. But there's the question of how do I do what I do? And the answer is, for me, the kaleidoscope. I call it a kind of meditation, the kaleidoscope of the mind. I'm able to block out noise and to block out the chaos, and within that find the solution. Because I believe that the solution that you're searching for, the clarity that you're searching for, is in you. And the perception of what we see is extremely important. And if we just turn that kaleidoscope just a little, we can see it. One image actually can turn into a variety of different colors. So the same image turns into a number of different kaleidoscopes. The same colors, but shown in a little bit of a different way. I believe that there's infinite possibilities in what you're looking for. And the power of what you're looking for is inside you. And sometimes all it takes is just turning that kaleidoscope just a bit to see what the possible solutions are. So I invite you to have strange conversations, to see life in a different way, to look for the solution that's inside of you. And perhaps by having these strange conversations with people, that for you, like it is with me, the strange conversations become usual and really fantastic. Thank you.